You know the story. A shepherd boy keeps yelling wolf when there's no wolf, and eventually nobody believes him anymore. We always tell this story as a warning about lying, but what if the wolf was listening too? What if the wolf learned exactly why nobody came running? What if the wolf realized it needed to stop crying? Spam is dying, not because we defeated it, but because it finally figured out what it was doing wrong. The graveyard of ignored messages. You've seen them. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Congratulations! You've won the Spanish lottery. Urgent, your package is waiting. Click here. Hey stranger, where are you flying this summer? Limited time offer, 2 for the price of 1. You don't read these. You don't even finish the subject line. Your thumb swipes left before your brain fully processes the words. It's almost automatic now, like blinking, like breathing. Your eyes have developed a kind of spam vision, a filter that operates faster than conscious thought. These emails land in your inbox like flyers thrown onto a wet sidewalk. They sit there getting rained on, stepped over, completely invisible to everyone walking by. The spammers are standing on street corners, handing out pamphlets to a crowd that learned decades ago to walk past without making eye contact. Spam didn't fail because persuasion stopped working. It failed because spammers didn't know who they were talking to. They were shouting into a stadium, hoping one person in the crowd would raise their hand. A single message sent to 10,000 strangers. If one buys, maybe it's profitable. If 10 buy, it's a good day. If 100 buy, it's a win. They don't have the time to care about you. It is physically impossible for a human spammer to sit down, read the biography of 10,000 people, and write 10,000 personal letters. The friction of time has been our shield. They don't know who you are. Hey don't know if you are a grandmother in Tokyo or a teenager in Toronto. They don't know what you care about. They don't know your name, your town, your dreams, your fears, so they write for everyone. And a message written for everyone speaks very few. We became immune, we developed antibodies. The wolf cried so many times with the same voice, the same words, the same empty threats that we stopped hearing it entirely. But what happens when the wolf learns to whisper your name? No human has the time to look at 10,000 people and whisper something different into each ear. No human. Until recently. The stranger who knows your streets. Old Spam was fishing with a net. Wide, indiscriminate, wasteful. What's imagined here is fishing with names engraved on each hook. Let me show you something that already exists. Right now, today, I could theoretically upload a simple text document into a large language model. Let's say this document contains 100 names, but not just names. Let's say I use an AI agent to scrape the web for those names first. It finds their LinkedIn profiles, their public Facebook posts, their tweets. It builds a dossier. Now I tell the AI, write me a sales pitch for a generic bar of soap, but write it specifically for these 100 people based on their psychological profiles. Suddenly the game changes. Picture a 50-year-old engineer living in a small town in upstate New York. He's cynical, he hates marketing, he deletes everything, but tomorrow he gets a message. It doesn't promise him millions of dollars. It starts with a joke about that weird rusting bronze statue in his specific town square, the one he walks past every day on his way to the firm. The message speaks his language, utilitarian, grounded, no fluff. It jokes that this soap will engineer a better morning routine for him. He pauses, he reads it, he chuckles. It feels serendipitous. It feels like a coincidence, but it isn't a coincidence. It is a calculation. The AI has woven a narrative that fits into the keyhole of his life perfectly. This is the transition from spam to hyper-personalization. The friction is gone. The AI doesn't get tired writing 10,000 unique, deeply researched paragraphs. It can do it in the time it takes you to sip your coffee. This isn't science fiction. This is a Tuesday afternoon. This is technology that exists in free tools available to anyone with an internet connection. If you don't even have the paragraphs, you could provide social links, profiles, fragments. An automated process could fill in the rest. But we're still in the shallow end of this pool. We haven't even started swimming yet. The machine that never blinks. I signed up for a service recently, didn't buy anything, just gave them my email to look around. What happened next was fascinating. Day 1, hey, just checking in. Day 2, did you have any questions? Day 3, here's something you might have missed. Day 7, we noticed you haven't come back. Day 14, what's holding you back? Day 30, we're still here. Day 50, just so you know. They're still emailing. I wonder if they'll ever stop. I suspect they won't. This isn't a person checking in. This is an automated sequence, a drip campaign, a patient machine that will keep knocking on my door until the heat death of the universe or until I unsubscribe, whichever comes first. Currently this is annoying, but it's robotic. It's a pre-written sequence. I know a machine is just moving down a flowchart. Now, imagine that flowchart is alive. Imagine an AI stalker agent assigned solely to you. Its only goal in existence is to sell you a vacation package. It starts with an email. You ignore it. The AI notes the lack of interaction. It analyzes the time of day. It sent the message. Okay, it thinks. 6 a.m. didn't work. The subject line was too aggressive. It waits 3 days. It tries a different angle. It finds your Instagram. It sees you posted a picture of a rainy day, looking miserable. Within 10 minutes, you get a WhatsApp message, not an email, a text, right in your pocket. It says, looks brutal out there. Imagine how the sun feels in Tuscany right now. It feels like a friend. It feels like someone watching you. If we extrapolate this out, we are looking at an infinite A/B test where you are the lab rat. The AI will try humor. If you don't laugh, it will try fear. If you don't get scared, it will try nostalgia. It will try flattery. It will try logic. It will keep pressing buttons on the dashboard of your psychology until it sees the light turn green. Like a salesperson who never needs sleep, never gets discouraged, never forgets what didn't work last time. Less like spam, more like a polite stranger who keeps finding new reasons to bump into you. Day 1. Hey Nadav, saw you're into philosophical essays. Ever thought about how patience itself is a skill you can train? Day 7. You mentioned fantasy art on your profile. What if your creative workflow could be twice as fast? Day 14. I noticed you work with databases. Here's something that might solve that SQLite headache you tweeted about. Day 30. Your Etsy shop could use better automation. Here's exactly how. Every message a key, testing the lock. Every day a new key. The machine doesn't get tired. The machine doesn't get discouraged. The machine doesn't feel awkward about following up for the 15th time. It simply continues. The polite stalker in your pocket. There's a difference between a billboard and a conversation. A billboard screams the same thing at everyone who drives by. A conversation listens, responds, adapts. Spam used to be billboards, ugly ones, with typos, shouting into traffic, easy to ignore. But what if spam became a conversation, not email? Email is too easy to filter, too easy to ignore. Too much distance between the sender and your eyes. What about text messages? What about WhatsApp? What about direct messages on platforms you check reflexively, compulsively, 50 times a day? Imagine a presence that appears in your DMs, friendly, casual, knows just enough about you to feel familiar, makes jokes that land, references things you actually care about, doesn't push too hard, doesn't feel like selling, feels like a friend you maybe forgot you made. And this friend casually mentions a product just once, then moves on, talks about something else, then a week later, mentions it again. Different angle, then a month later, in a completely different context, brings it up again. Water on stone, drip by drip, patient, relentless, personalized. How many of us, if we were completely honest, could say we'd never respond, never engage, never feel that tiny pool of curiosity? We like to think we are impenetrable fortresses. We think, I would never fall for that. But there is a concept in warfare called the siege. You don't knock the castle walls down in a day. You wait, you starve them out, you throw pebbles at the window until they open it just to yell at you to stop. If just one of these personalized AI agents manages to get words in front of your eyes every single day, how long can you realistically hold the fort? The scary part of this hypothetical future isn't that the AI is smarter than us. It's that it has more patience than us. It has no ego. It doesn't feel rejection. If you scream at it, It just marks that data point. Target response to high arousal negative stimuli. It adjusts, it recalibrates, it comes back with a message designed to soothe the anger it just provoked. We might be entering an era where our inboxes are not filled with trash, but with mirrors. Every message reflects our own desires, our own fears, our own local statues and inside jokes. Fortresses have doors, and every door has a lock. And somewhere in the infinite space of possible messages, there might exist a key that fits. The arms race we might not win. Of course, technology could protect us. Filters could get smarter. AI could screen our messages, detecting manipulation, flagging synthetic sincerity. We could build walls higher than the ladders trying to climb them. But there's a problem with walls. They have to hold everywhere, all the time. Attackers only need to find one crack, once. History is full of locks that worked perfectly until someone wanted through badly enough. And personalized AI persuasion has an asymmetric advantage. It can probe, it can test, it can try 1,000 different approaches until it finds the one that slips through. Your defenses work on patterns, but what if every message is unique? What if no two approaches look alike? What if the wolf learns to wear a different disguise every single day? There's an old saying in security: defenders have to be right every time, attackers only have to be right once. Now apply that to attention, to persuasion, to the quiet art of changing someone's mind. You'd have to be vigilant every day, every message, every interaction, forever. That sounds exhausting. That sounds impossible. That sounds like a siege that eventually, inevitably, ends with the gates opening. Not because they were broken down, but because someone inside got tired of holding them shut. The last salesman. We stopped fearing spam when it became easy to spot, when it wore the same cheap costume every day. But if the next version doesn't look like spam at all, if it looks like a message written just for you at just the right moment, then maybe the question isn't whether we can recognize it. Maybe the question is whether recognizing it will still be enough. We might look back on this era, the era of bad spam, clumsy spam, obvious spam, with something like nostalgia. Remember when scams were obvious? Remember when manipulation was lazy? Remember when you could tell at a glance what was real and what was trying to sell you something? In the future, or maybe in the present, that's just now revealing itself. The line between genuine connection and engineered persuasion might blur beyond recognition. Every message could be crafted, every interaction optimized, every conversation shaped by invisible hands that know exactly which strings to pull. We might live in a world where we're not sure if the friendly stranger in our DMs is a person who genuinely likes us, a bot that was programmed to seem like it likes us, or something in between that even the sender couldn't quite define. Trust becomes expensive, authenticity becomes rare. The village where everyone knows everyone turns into a masquerade ball where every face might be a mask. The wolf's new voice. The boy who cried wolf trained us to ignore the cry. So the wolf adapted, stopped crying, started whispering, started learning our names, our streets, our fears, our dreams, started speaking not to the crowd, but to each of us, individually, in the voice we most wanted to hear. Spam isn't dying because we won. Spam is dying because it's evolving, shedding its old skin, becoming something we might not recognize until it's already inside the gates. And if you're watching this on a platform that showed you this video because an algorithm thought you'd engage with it, if you clicked because the thumbnail caught your eye and the title made you curious, if you've stayed this long because something in the pacing and the metaphors and the rhythm felt like it was speaking directly to you, well, maybe you already know what it feels like when the wolf learns to whisper, because the boy who cried wolf learned an important lesson that day, but so did the wolf.